The narcissist mad you didn't beg them like others cause you were the real deal. Did they really think you'd break down? That you'd crumble and beg for their attention, desperately trying to win them over? Well, here's the plot twist. They couldn't have been more wrong. While they anticipated you would chase them, you did the opposite. You stood strong, confident in your worth, and showed them something they never expected: your inner strength, your unshakable pride, and the fierce belief you have in yourself. Let's dive into why this unexpected shift in dynamics leaves narcissists stunned, and how you can keep standing tall in your power. Stay with me. The narcissist has seen it all before, hasn't they? The others who begged and pleaded, the ones who clung to their every word like a lifeline, desperately doing anything they could to hold on, to maintain their place in their life. Those people were so eager to be in the narcissist's good graces, too afraid to walk away for fear of being left with nothing. But you were different. You weren't built to beg. Begging for scraps of attention or validation was never in your nature. You were built to rise, to thrive, to stand tall and shine. When you walked away, it wasn't out of desperation, it wasn't out of weakness, it was out of self-respect. You knew your worth, and you understood that staying in a toxic situation would only diminish that. And that's exactly what set you apart from all those others who came before you. They were bound by their need to please, but you were the real deal, the one that couldn't be bought, the one that couldn't be manipulated into staying for the narcissist's convenience. And now, as they face the crushing reality of losing someone like you, they can't help but wonder, how could they have let you slip through their fingers? How could they have overlooked the treasure that stood right before them, offering love, loyalty, and authenticity? The others they've encountered since you left, they don't compare. They can't bring what you brought to the table. They don't have the depth, the substance, the unwavering loyalty, or the strength that you carried with you. The narcissist thought they could easily replace you, that they could find someone else who would worship them, put them on a pedestal, and continue to feed their ego without ever questioning their worth. But the truth is finally sinking in. They didn't just lose a partner. They lost someone who brought real meaning into their life, someone who wasn't there just to meet their needs or validate their existence, but someone who offered true connection and authenticity. Now they're left with nothing but hollow interactions, shallow relationships that don't even come close to what they had with you. The worst part, though, is that they're finally realizing that you weren't just another face in the crowd. You weren't someone easily replaceable, someone they could toss aside without consequence. You were the calm in their storm, the anchor they didn't even realize they needed until it was too late. You grounded them when they were lost, you offered support when they were struggling, and you loved them in a way that no one else ever could. But now they're adrift. They're drifting through their days, searching for something, anything, that could fill the void you left behind. But no matter how hard they try, they're finding nothing. The people they meet, the relationships they attempt to form, they don't come close to the energy you brought into their life. It's like trying to replace something irreplaceable, and they're beginning to understand that now. They took you for granted, always assuming that you would stick around, that you'd always be there waiting for them to come to their senses. But you didn't wait. You didn't stick around to be mistreated or overlooked. You walked away, and now they have to deal with the consequences of their own actions. They can't fill the emptiness they feel, because that emptiness is the result of their own choices. It's the result of their own selfishness and inability to recognize your worth while they had the chance. They didn't appreciate the depth of the connection you offered. They didn't realize how much you were giving until you stopped giving it. They were so caught up in their own world, so focused on maintaining control and manipulating their environment, that they didn't see you for the treasure you truly were. And now that treasure is gone. They're stuck in their own mess, unable to get out, constantly haunted by the memory of your grace, your poise, and your unwavering sense of self. Every time they try to move on, every time they try to replace you, they are reminded of what they lost. The people they encounter don't compare to you, not because they aren't good enough, but because no one will ever be able to offer what you did: unconditional love, respect, and loyalty. The narcissist thought they could find someone better, someone who would serve their needs without question, but now they know the harsh reality: they can't. No one else can fill the role you played in their life. And they'll spend the rest of their days searching for something that no one else can give them: your authenticity, your unwavering strength, your incredible heart. And deep down, they know it's too late. The moment they let you go, they sealed their own fate. Oh, how they wish they could go back. They wish they could rewind time, press pause, and fix all the mistakes they made, the things they broke along the way. They wish they could erase the hurt they caused, take back the words they said, and undo the actions that pushed you away. But, as we all know, time doesn't work that way. Time moves forward relentlessly, no matter how badly they wish it didn't. And so do you. You moved forward, not because you wanted to, but because you had no choice. You didn't beg for their affection, not because you didn't care, but because you understood something they couldn't grasp. You understood that the right people don't need to be begged to stay. The right people see your value, they recognize your worth from the start, and they fight to keep you in their lives. They don't take you for granted. They don't let you go without a fight. They cherish what they have. But them? They were never the right people. They didn't see you for what you were. They didn't value you. And that's why, in the end, they lost you. What's even more ironic is how they thought they were the ones in control. They thought their silence, their coldness, would make you question yourself. They thought it would make you doubt your worth, make you feel insecure, and ultimately make you crawl back to them. But instead, it was their silence that exposed their weakness, not yours. It's funny, isn't it? The very thing they thought would break you, the thing they hoped would manipulate you into begging, only made you stronger. Their attempts to control and manipulate you backfired. They tried to diminish your confidence, but all they did was reinforce your sense of self-worth. With each cold shoulder, with each moment of silence, you realized that you were better off without them. And now they're left to deal with the consequences of their own actions. The truth is, you didn't need them, and you still don't. You discovered the power of walking away from people who don't value you, from situations that drain you. In doing so, you unlocked a new kind of freedom, a freedom that comes from knowing your worth and not settling for less than you deserve. You've learned that your value isn't dependent on someone else's ability to see it. Your worth is inherent. It's not something to be negotiated. It's something that simply exists, no matter who recognizes it or not. You've embraced the idea that you don't need to chase after anyone who doesn't appreciate you, and you certainly don't need to beg for someone's love or attention. You know now that those who see your worth will fight to keep you in their lives. Those who don't simply aren't worth your time or energy. And that's why, no matter what they do, no matter how much time passes, you'll always be unforgettable. You're one of a kind. You were the real deal, the kind of person they'll never find again. Now they're left in their own regret, drowning in the consequences of their decisions, forced to confront the fact that they let the real deal slip right through their fingers. They'll try to replace you. They'll try to find someone else who makes them feel the way you made them feel. They'll look for someone who can offer the same level of connection, the same depth, the same love you gave them. But it won't work. No one will ever compare. They'll quickly realize that the people they encounter won't be able to give them what you did. They'll try to substitute you with someone who looks like you, someone who talks like you, But deep down, they'll know that it's not the same. They'll never find someone who fits the way you did. The truth is, they didn't just lose a person, they lost a part of themselves. You were the missing piece they never even realized they needed, the piece that made their life whole. And now that you're gone, they're left with an emptiness they can't fill, a hole that no one else will ever be able to fill. You didn't beg because you knew something they didn't. You understood that a person of true worth doesn't chase after someone who doesn't recognize it. You knew that your value was not something to be earned through desperation or begging. You knew that someone who truly sees you for who you are, someone who truly values you, will make every effort to keep you in their life. And those who don't, those who can't see your worth, simply aren't worth your time. They'll come to understand this, but it will be too late. As they reflect on their actions, as they look back on what they had with you, they'll be stuck in the past, replaying every moment, every opportunity they had to change, to make things right. They'll wish they could go back, make a different choice, make better decisions. But they can't. The past is gone, it's been written, and you've already moved on. You've already chosen your future. And in doing so, you've left them in the past, where they belong. The true beauty of your journey lies in how it no longer revolves around them. You've come so far, and the person you are today is no longer shaped by their actions, their words, or their love. You've freed yourself from the chains they once had on you, and in doing so, you've built a life that is richer, more vibrant, and infinitely more fulfilling than anything they could have ever provided. You've created something for yourself, something that brings you joy, peace, and purpose. And that's a reality they'll have to come to terms with for the rest of their lives. They'll never have what you've built, and no matter how hard they try, they'll never be able to replicate the life you've crafted for yourself. Now they're left to stew in their regret, drowning in their endless cycle of what-ifs and missed opportunities. They'll replay every mistake they made, wishing they could go back and do it all differently. But the truth is, it's no longer your burden to bear. They've had their chance, and they blew it. You've shed that weight, let go of the past, and you've stepped forward into a future that's waiting for you. A future that's not held back by the mistakes of the past, but rather propelled by your strength and resilience. While they remain stuck, dwelling on what they lost, you're out there, living your best life. You're moving forward, surrounded by people who see you for who you truly are, who appreciate you, value you, and love you the way you deserve to be loved. You didn't beg for their love, you didn't chase after their affection, and you certainly didn't crumble under the weight of their indifference. And that's exactly what makes you unforgettable. It's what makes you stand out from everyone else. It's what makes you the real deal. You had the courage to walk away, to stand firm in your own worth, and not let anyone, no matter how convincing, make you believe that you were anything less than extraordinary. And now, as they sit in the aftermath, facing the consequences of their actions, they'll never forget the person who had the strength to walk away without begging, without pleading, without compromising. Because deep down, they know they'll never find someone like you again. They may try. They may look for someone who fills the gap you left behind, someone who can make them feel the way you made them feel. They'll search for someone who can match the energy, the depth, and the authenticity that you brought into their life. But no matter how many people they meet, no matter how many times they try, it will never be the same. They'll never find someone who truly understands their worth, who brings them the same level of peace, love, and connection that you offered them. They'll search for something that doesn't exist, because the truth is, they didn't just lose a person, they lost a part of themselves. You were the missing piece in their life, the one they never truly appreciated until it was too late. And now that piece is gone, and they'll spend the rest of their lives trying to fill a void that can never be filled. So here's to you, the person who didn't beg, the one who walked away with grace and dignity, the person who knew their worth and wasn't afraid to stand up for it. You're the one who got away. You're the one they'll never forget, and they'll spend forever regretting that they couldn't see your value until it was too late. You are the person who taught them the painful lesson that the right person doesn't need to be begged to stay, and that lesson will haunt them for the rest of their lives. But you're moving forward, embracing the life you deserve, and living it to the fullest. And that's the best revenge of all. Thank you for watching, and for joining me in this journey of self-realization. If this message resonated with you, I invite you to like, share, and subscribe for more content that will help you continue on your path of growth, empowerment, and self-love. Together, let's keep building a community that understands the power of self-worth and the strength of walking away from what doesn't serve us. Thank you for being here, and remember, you were always the real deal. How to reject a narcissist. The key to protecting your emotional well-being. Narcissists can be incredibly charming, persuasive, and manipulative. They often present themselves as confident, alluring, and self-assured, drawing others in with their charm and promises. At first glance, their behavior might seem appealing, but beneath this exterior lies a toxic, self-centered nature. Whether it's a romantic partner, a friend, or a colleague, rejecting a narcissist can feel daunting, especially if you've been subjected to their manipulations and gaslighting for an extended period of time. Rejecting a narcissist is not just about saying no or walking away. It's about reclaiming your personal power, setting clear boundaries, and maintaining your emotional well-being. Unfortunately, narcissists rarely accept rejection gracefully. Their fragile ego is often threatened, and they may react with anger, guilt-tripping, or even attempts to destroy your self-esteem. However, understanding why and how to reject a narcissist can help you protect yourself from their toxic influence. Here's a detailed guide on how to reject a narcissist effectively and maintain your peace. One of the most crucial aspects of rejecting a narcissist and protecting yourself from their toxic behavior is establishing and maintaining strong emotional boundaries. Narcissists are often extremely skilled at pushing limits and testing the boundaries you set. They have an uncanny ability to make you question yourself, and they will use every trick in the book to try to manipulate your emotions. For instance, they might attempt to guilt-trip you into feeling as though you've done something wrong by rejecting them. Or they could try to charm you with a renewed sense of affection or promises of change, hoping to sway your decision. Their goal is always to regain control, and they will stop at nothing to make you second-guess your choices. To protect your emotional well-being and stay grounded in your decision, it is essential to strengthen your emotional boundaries. This means being clear about where your emotional world ends and theirs begins. When dealing with a narcissist, remind yourself that their feelings and reactions are not your responsibility, no matter how much they try to convince you otherwise. This means acknowledging that you don't need to accept or internalize their emotional manipulation. It's vital to practice asserting your right to say no firmly, without feeling the obligation to explain yourself or justify your decision to them. The more clear, firm, and unwavering you are in your boundaries, the harder it will be for the narcissist to exploit your emotional vulnerabilities. Narcissists do not handle rejection well, and they certainly do not take it lightly. They are often under the false belief that their needs should always come first, and when they are confronted with the reality that you are no longer willing to tolerate their behavior or accept their manipulation, they will react with extreme intensity. Their response can be anything from outright anger to complete disbelief, and in some cases, They might even try to manipulate you into feeling guilty for causing them emotional pain. They may try to make you feel as though you are responsible for their hurt, which can be a powerful and confusing tactic. Expect the narcissist to attempt to regain control by using various emotional tactics such as gaslighting. The narcissist may outright deny their toxic behavior, insisting that you are the one overreacting, imagining things, or making a bigger issue out of nothing. They might try to convince you that the problem lies with you, not with them, in an attempt to distort reality and make you doubt your own perceptions and feelings. Love bombing. When they realize that their typical tactics aren't working, the narcissist might shift gears and attempt to win you back by showering you with affection, attention, and promises of change. This love-bombing tactic can feel overwhelming, as they may flood you with emotional declarations and grand gestures that seem heartfelt but are often shallow and lack real substance. These empty gestures are designed to manipulate your emotions and make you reconsider your decision. Rage. When their ego takes a hit, a narcissist may respond with explosive anger or rage, attempting to shame or guilt you into returning to the relationship or giving them another chance. Their emotional outbursts are designed to destabilize you and create a sense of urgency, trying to pressure you into compromising your decision and letting them back into your life. Being prepared for these types of manipulative reactions will help you maintain your resolve. It's essential to remind yourself that these emotional outbursts are not a reflection of your worth or the validity of your decision, but rather a tactic they use to manipulate and control you. Their goal is not to help you, but to put you in a vulnerable position where they can regain control over your emotions and your actions. When rejecting a narcissist, it's critical to remain calm, composed, and unwavering, regardless of how they react. Narcissists thrive on drama and emotional intensity, and they often try to provoke reactions from you that will leave you feeling destabilized, guilty, or questioning your decision. They know that when you're emotionally unbalanced, they can regain some measure of control. However, by staying calm and composed, you deny them the satisfaction of seeing you lose your emotional balance. It's important to remember that narcissists rely on your emotional reactions to manipulate you. So, the more you can stay grounded, the less power they have over you. One way to do this is by practicing deep breathing techniques, mindfulness, or grounding exercises that help you stay centered and focused on your own emotional well-being, rather than reacting to their manipulations. If you feel yourself becoming overwhelmed by their tactics, it's completely okay to take a step back and remove yourself from the situation, giving yourself the space to regain your composure and protect your emotional health. Narcissists are highly skilled manipulators, and they will often try to reel you back in by using guilt, fear, or anger to get a reaction out of you. They may even try to provoke you into an argument or an emotional confrontation to weaken your boundaries and draw you back into their drama. This is why it's essential to avoid engaging with them on any emotional level once you've made the decision to reject them. Any attempt to engage in an emotional confrontation plays into their hands, allowing them to manipulate the situation and continue controlling your emotions. Instead of engaging in their emotional games, it's vital to stay resolute and avoid getting pulled into their tactics. Stick to your boundaries, remember your worth, and trust in the decision you've made. When you remain emotionally detached and avoid their attempts to provoke you, you can maintain your autonomy and peace, keeping their manipulative behavior at bay. One of the most effective ways to reject a narcissist is through the grey rocking technique. This strategy involves becoming emotionally neutral and disengaged, which denies the narcissist the emotional reactions they desperately crave. When you choose to grey rock, you essentially become a boring person to the narcissist, offering no excitement, no drama, and no emotional engagement. Instead of responding to their outbursts or attempts to provoke you, remain calm, neutral, and distant. Your responses should be short, unemotional, and non-committal, or in some cases, complete silence can work best. By refusing to engage emotionally, you deprive the narcissist of the validation they seek. Over time, this can frustrate them, as they thrive on the emotional reactions of others. They will begin to realize that their typical tactics are no longer effective on you, which may lead them to eventually lose interest or back off. When you set out to reject a narcissist, it is essential to be firm and consistent with your boundaries. Narcissists will continuously test your limits, often pushing you to the brink with repeated requests, emotional pleas, or manipulative tactics. They may try to wear you down, hoping that you will eventually give in to their demands. However, if you give in even once, they will perceive this as a sign of weakness, and they will use it as an opportunity to regain control over you. To prevent this, make sure you establish clear, non-negotiable boundaries from the beginning. You don't need to explain or justify your reasoning, as narcissists often twist explanations to manipulate you further. Simply state your decision and boundary clearly, and stick to it, no matter what they do to try to change your mind. If you've already communicated your intention to reject them, there is no need to continue discussing it. The more consistent and firm you are in your boundaries, the more likely it is that the narcissist will eventually back off and recognize that they cannot control you. Rejecting a narcissist, particularly after a long-term or emotionally draining relationship, can be incredibly challenging. The emotional turmoil and confusion that often accompany narcissistic relationships can make it difficult to stand firm in your decision. That's why having a strong support system in place can make all the difference during this time. Reach out to friends, family, or a therapist who can provide emotional support and help you stay focused on your well-being. Narcissists often try to isolate their victims from their social circles, cutting them off from their support systems in order to maintain control. Having people around who respect your boundaries and understand the dynamics of narcissistic abuse will not only validate your experience, but also remind you of your worth. This support will help you stay grounded in your decision to reject the narcissist and offer the emotional encouragement you need to heal and move forward. Once you have successfully rejected a narcissist, it's crucial to prioritize your emotional healing and self-care. Narcissistic relationships can leave you feeling drained, confused, and emotionally exhausted, and it may take time to rebuild your sense of self-worth and regain your confidence, especially if you've been manipulated or gaslit for an extended period. During this healing process, focus on practices that nurture your mind, body, and spirit. Engage in activities that bring you joy, peace, and relaxation, such as hobbies, exercise, or spending time in nature. Self-care can also involve setting aside time for meditation, journaling, or other mindfulness practices that help you reconnect with your true self. In addition, seeking professional support, such as therapy or counseling, can be extremely beneficial in helping you process any emotional wounds left by the narcissistic relationship. A therapist can assist you in understanding the trauma caused by narcissistic abuse, help you develop healthy coping strategies, and guide you on your journey to healing. The more you invest in your own well-being, the stronger and more resilient you will become, and the easier it will be to move on from the toxic influence of the narcissist. Even after you have rejected a narcissist and begun to heal, you may still encounter them in the future, particularly if you share mutual social circles, work together, or have other unavoidable interactions. In these situations, it is essential to remain firm and consistent in your boundaries, as the narcissist may try to re-enter your life in subtle ways. They may attempt to initiate contact through indirect messages, mutual acquaintances, or even try to present themselves as having changed. It's important to stay true to your decision and not allow the narcissist to worm their way back into your life. If you must interact with them, keep the conversation brief and strictly professional. Do not engage in personal discussions or share any emotional information that could be used against you. Narcissists are masters of manipulation, and any personal information they obtain could be weaponized to further their agenda. Keep your interactions limited and avoid any emotional engagement, as this will prevent the narcissist from exploiting your vulnerability. Remain emotionally distant and stay focused on maintaining your peace and well-being. By continuing to enforce your boundaries, you ensure that the narcissist cannot regain control over your emotions or your life. It's essential to understand that rejecting a narcissist is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process. Narcissists may continue to try to disrupt your life, even after you've made your decision clear. However, by remaining firm in your boundaries, relying on your support system, prioritizing self-care, and staying emotionally distant when interactions are unavoidable, you empower yourself to move on and free yourself from their toxic influence. In conclusion, rejecting a narcissist is a bold and empowering decision. It takes strength, courage, and a deep understanding of your worth. By understanding the nature of narcissism, setting firm boundaries, staying calm in the face of their manipulation, and focusing on your emotional healing, you can protect yourself from their toxic influence. Remember that rejecting a narcissist is not just about saying no to them. It's about saying yes to your own emotional well-being, happiness, and peace. You have the power to protect your energy and reclaim your life. Stay strong, stay firm, and keep moving forward. You deserve healthy, fulfilling relationships that honor your needs and values. Rejecting a narcissist is the first step toward embracing your true self and creating the life you deserve. The narcissist mad you didn't beg them like others cause you were the real deal. Did they really think you'd break down? That you crumble and beg for their attention, desperately trying to win them over? Well, here's the plot twist. They couldn't have been more wrong. While they anticipated you would chase them, you did the opposite. You stood strong, confident in your worth, and showed them something they never expected: your inner strength, your unshakable pride, and the fierce belief you have in yourself. Let's dive into why this unexpected shift in dynamics leaves narcissists stunned, and how you can keep standing tall in your power. Stay with me. The narcissist has seen it all before, hasn't they? The others who begged and pleaded, the ones who clung to their every word like a lifeline, desperately doing anything they could to hold on, to maintain their place in their life. Those people were so eager to be in the narcissist's good graces, too afraid to walk away for fear of being left with nothing. But you were different. You weren't built to beg. Begging for scraps of attention or validation was never in your nature. You were built to rise, to thrive, to stand tall and shine. When you walked away, it wasn't out of desperation, it wasn't out of weakness, it was out of self-respect. You knew your worth, and you understood that staying in a toxic situation would only diminish that. And that's exactly what set you apart from all those others who came before you. They were bound by their need to please, but you were the real deal, the one that couldn't be bought, the one that couldn't be manipulated into staying for the narcissist's convenience.